everyone. This is Simiran Choudhary, and I welcome you all on behalf of Voice of Healthcare to a unique initiative, Leadership Talks Cancer Awareness Edition, where we features leaders of healthcare who have not only just taken milestones, big steps to improve the healthcare society or to help in people's life, but also continuously striving to make a bigger and positive impact in the society of healthcare and to improve people's life. So, for today's session, we have our guest, Mrs. Poonam Nanda, Trustee and Chief Mentor of UV Can organization. Welcome to our show, ma'am.
Thank you.
Before proceeding, I'll just give a brief introduction about Mrs. Poonam Nanda, that she is a distinguished figure of public health and education sector. She has over a 3 years, decades experience in non-profit organization, and she herself is a two times breast cancer survivor, which takes a lot of zeal, energy, and strength to be on this platform and working for millions and so many people to be there on the field, on the ground to help them out. And she's a dean of student welfare of Shulin University, where she's shaping the young mind to be, the brighter and future leaders of a healthier world. Welcome to our show, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simran. Very happy to be here today.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Ma'am, whatever I have and we all know about you is less, but we want to know more about you from you. That's why we wanted to have this a candid conversation, a show, a interview round, or more of a chit chat, I believe, where we can know more about your initiatives, how you guys are working in this cancer awareness segment, and stuff like that.
Sure. You can ask me whatever you want to. I'm here to answer.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, you have been associated in this field for this cancer eradication cause for more than 3 decades, right? And how did you got associated with this noble cause, and how far has your journey been till date? And you are associated with UV Can also. So, how UV Can landed in your life?
All right. Not a very pleasant thing to share, but my mother was detected with breast cancer many, many years ago.
Okay.
And there is something known as your genes that can really, upset your life and your lifestyle. And when my mom got cancer, I had no clue that, it could be genetic.
Mm.
It was much later in life that I got to know. But since then, ever since my mom went down with cancer, somehow, seeing her go through that journey, our entire, of course, we kids were quite grown up by then, but then the whole household coming to a standstill, uh, running around in circles, because the shock of dealing with cancer was such a huge one. So
Yeah.
that is something that prompted me to kind of, start talking about it, telling other people about it. I had no clue, Simran, that, I would go down with cancer not once, but twice. And so that's how the journey actually started. And with UV, you are aware that I'm related to him. So, you know, I mean, it was the most natural thing for us to do because Yuvi wanted to give back to his country, his people, because when he went through this terrible journey, there were like millions and zillions of people praying for his recovery.
Yes.
I mean, people were in in shock and stunned silence because he was like God for them. He had just won the World Cup. He was a hero who could do no wrong. And when he was detected with cancer, I mean, everything just kind of fell apart. So his idea was that he could afford the best of treatment, but there are millions of people who cannot. I was a very strong believer of the fact that awareness can, it's the only thing that can sort of save your lives. It saved mine because both times I found my cancer very early, and I had to suffer far less than most people do. So it was like a ready-made mix that was good to go, and that's how we started the foundation. And of course, with my journey and his journey, we were very, very focused into making this work no matter what challenges we faced.
Very true, ma'am. And I guess only the person who has been in that place, has experienced everything, will understand the importance of each and everything which comes into the journey, whether it's the treatment, the early realization, or recovery, or the diagnostics. and
Yes.
especially the amount which goes into this treatment is very expensive. We all know, and I think that's what that's what motivated you and Yuvraj Singh also to to start with this organization. And we are grateful that this organization is there in a society to help millions of people out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
Ma'am, there would have been many challenges also in between, right? While you guys were building UV Can, because initially from building from a small NGO to a national level non-profit organization foundation. So how did you guys went, and what were the challenges that you faced?
See, we actually initially started as a very small, what shall I say, a very informal kind of an organization. There were just a handful of us trying to put our heads together to see what we could do, how we could do it, because moving into the public domain and trying to help people who are out on the roads not having any kind of resources to help them through this tournament, through this journey, was completely different.
Hmm.
But having said that, having Yuvi with us was actually like a game changer, because he had been so open about his journey, unlike a lot of people who try and hide things that are going on in their lives, especially when it's something as deadly as cancer,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Giving my own example, even today when somebody needs help, if somebody calls me, they are very cagey about it, and they tell me, Poonam, is it okay if we ask somebody to talk to you? Are you okay talking to somebody? I said, of course I'm okay talking about it. And if my journey, my experiences, my ups and downs can help somebody, in their journey, why would I not do it? And then with Uv, of course, like I said, he was vomiting blood in the World Cup 2011. And it's only, very close people like us who could sense that there was something wrong. And
Hmm.
we were warning him about it, but this child said, no, nothing doing till the World Cup is over. I'm not doing anything else. And so, the journey went on. He won the World Cup. He was the man of the series. So, having said that, having UV as the brand ambassador of UV Can was a game changer for us,
Yeah.
because one, he had such a strong hold on the public masses. Two, he had been so open about his journey. And three, people had that trust in us that, if they supported UV Can, if we got CSR funding, let me tell you, Simran, till today, nobody can point a finger and say that even 1 rupee that they have donated or, given us for funding has gone into anything that is private. Every single penny that we get is very purposefully used for anyone and everyone who comes to the foundation for help. So I think those kind of things have helped. And then when COVID happened, then we shifted gears from cancer. We focused on mission 1000 beds. We uh, upgraded the infrastructure of so many hospitals with ventilators, emergency beds, oxygen cylinders. And then, we had somebody like Accenture who was so fussy about things. But
Yeah.
their director said, you guys just wowed us. That was such a huge compliment from somebody so senior, saying you guys wowed us, because, we delivered everything to the T. So challenges, but I think we managed to face them quite well.
And that's what the beauty of challenges are, और when you achieve it, कि चाहे कितनी भी मुश्किलें आए और जब आप आगे बढ़ पाते हैं ना, फिर मुड़ के देखते हैं उन चीज़ों को, तो एक बहुत अच्छा सा लगता है कि वो सारी परेशानियों को पीछे छोड़ के अब हम आगे बढ़ चुके हैं.
आगे बढ़ गए बिल्कुल एब्सोल्युटली एंड दैट अप्लाइज इन एवरी journey of your life, whether you are dealing with cancer or failure or a relationship breakup, आप कुछ भी हो, you always look back at the challenges you faced and then you came out of it successful.
And that makes you stronger,
Yes, definitely,
very strong.
definitely.
And that's what UV can is, making people stronger, society stronger, healthcare system, and whether it's treatment, diagnosing, or recovery. So, ma'am, whenever you guys are on field for creating awareness, diagnostic, and treating people for cancer, so what kind of impact do you see that organization in making? And especially when people, or let's say, gaon ke log, when they don't know much about it, when you're there to aware people about it, how do they react, and how does you guys manage to do all such things?
Now that is a story that is really worth relating, because we do the usual standard things कि हमने वर्ल्ड कैंसर डे मना लिया, पिंक अक्टूबर
हाँ.
मना लिया, विमेंस डे मना लिया, ये सब कर लिया, which everybody else is doing. But the
Hmm.
real challenge lies in going into the villages, into the communities, where a woman's health is probably the last priority for the family and the last thing on the woman's mind herself.
Yes.
Okay, she will do anything and everything for her children, for her husband, for her in-laws, but that lump in her breast or that funny bleeding that she's getting from her vagina or something like that, she will put it last and say कि ये हो जाए, उसका एग्जाम खत्म हो जाए, ये हो जाए, शुरू, उसके बाद मैं डॉक्टर के पास जाऊंगी. So
Hmm.
that is our constant message to these ladies, that you are the backbone of the family. Your
Correct.
health is of prime importance, and learn to recognize these signs. And if that lump in your breast is sitting there, you cannot wish it away. You
Hmm.
cannot do some herbal and ayurvedic treatment and have char golis and it will go away. Sometimes we look into the throats of people and we see those big things inside, and they say नहीं नहीं वो चूना लगा लिया, वो अभी 2-4 दिन में वैद्य जी बोल रहे हैं ठीक हो जाएगा. वो ठीक होने वाला नहीं है. So
Hmm.
that's the kind of awareness that we are trying to bring into the community, bring into the people, and tell them that even if you are stuck with disease, it's okay, it's not your fault, and you don't have to shy away from the world and say कि मेरे को कैंसर हो गया तो पता नहीं क्या प्रकोप मेरे ऊपर गिर गया है. It's not your fault. Okay.
Hmm.
So these are the things that I have a lovely team sitting in Gurgaon, young girls, young boys, very motivated, very dedicated, and they are out in the field almost every second day, braving the cold or the heat or whatever, going into places where you would not even think of going if you were leading your normal life, but they do it because of the love for the cause.
You said it right, ma'am. It's love for the cause, and the cause is
Yes.
keeping them, on the toes, pushing them to be the better version of them every day, and saving whatever life, little bit awareness, creating it, or saving lives, people around them is what pushing them.
Yes.
So now, whenever you guys go into this field and the team members come across some numbers or like in terms of diagnosis, you guys go for the diagnosis as well. And if I want to know about what exactly is the treatment and recovery rate out of the diagnosis, what it comes out, and how long is the journey uh, from treatment to recovery or diagnostic to recovery, and what exactly is the total approx cost of this treatment you guys bear for a person?
See, it's all a very varied kind of a thing. It depends on what stage your cancer is discovered. Let me tell
Hmm.
you that, like you said, I braved cancer twice. The first time, it was a very, very aggressive cancer. Okay. So and then when it hit me for the first time, naturally the whole family kind of crumbled. We
Yeah.
went through so many tests, tried to look at, you know I don't know how many doctors, and I was so frustrated by the end of it that finally, when we went to Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital in Pune, where I got my treatment, and we thought that we found the right doctor. I told the doctor, I said, look, from today, I'm like handing over my life to you. Okay. And मैंने बोला आप मुझे जहर भी पिला दोगे ना, मैं वो भी पी लूंगी, because you need to have that kind of a faith in your doctor.
Doctor.
So yeah. And the second time when the lump was found, I had just gone for my annual checkup. I had no symptoms at all. I had no clue that I was in for a second bout.
Hmm.
And my doctor told me that only 2% of women in India come to us at this stage. And this percentage in the US is more than 75%, because people are so regular with their checkups. They will make sure that, this sort of spike up the symptoms or whatever. But he says here people don't bother.
Hmm.
Length of the treatment will depend what kind of cancer you have, how bad it is. It can cost you 50,000 rupees, it can cost you 50 lakhs of rupees.
Hmm.
Because now so much of modern treatment, immunotherapy, very expensive injections from the foreign land, so much is happening. So,
Yes.
it all depends on that.
Correct. And like in case of what if the cancer has resurfaced, and how does the foundation work in supporting it? Or matlab, I know from for the treatment aspect UV can is there, but from the emotional side and from the family support, morally, you guys are there for them, and how do you make sure for that?
See, we are there for them whether it is the first time or it is the second time.
Yeah.
If you go through our case files, mostly it is in children that the blood cancer comes back, so
Hmm.
they need support all over again. Now what we do is we have some very basic uh, uh, what shall I say, guidelines, not rules but guidelines, saying that if your annual income is less than 2 lakhs of rupees, you are under the age of 18,
Hmm.
and you just give us your Aadhaar card and your family income, दो तीन documents है वो आप submit करिए, and whether it comes through the partner hospitals or it comes through a social worker or it comes as a personal request, we just look at the documents. And more than me, Simran, nobody realizes how quickly you need to move. So,
Correct.
you know, our organization is very, very open and very quick. The moment we get a request, the moment the paperwork is done, me as a part of the board, we just sit together, even if it's like late evening, and ensure that the case is passed so that tomorrow itself the treatment can start. Because most of the time the hospitals will give you these distress calls and say ki jaldi kar do, jaldi kar do, jaldi kar do, and we all realize the importance of that jaldi. So we do it, and whether it is a recurrence case or whether it's the first time, in fact, even in our education fund where we give children money for the year, the second year, like supposing the kid is in LKG, when he goes to UKG, he can apply for it again. If when he goes to first standard, if he still needs that money, we are more than happy to support.
Yeah.
So it's a continuous process, and it's not that we help the person and we just pay the 2 lakhs of rupees and say okay, over and done, case up. No, it's not. The girls from the team are in constant touch with the parents. In fact, looking after the parents is probably more difficult than looking after the kid, because the kid doesn't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
look at the trauma of the parents. They don't have the money, they don't have the means. The kid is down with cancer, they don't know where to go, what to do. So that's the time. I'm not saying we are the only one. There are
Hmm.
plenty of organization. You look at Can Kids,
Yes.
amazing work they do. They are there in every hospital with the amazing amount of volunteers that they have. So there are a lot of people doing a lot of good work, hand holding the people, and trying to sort of help them through this, what shall I say, the toughest journey of their life.
And I think that's all because of awareness, ma'am. Like you said, there are plenty of other organizations who are working in this field, Can Kid, or name other any organization. That is
Yeah,
all in all
lots of
because of cancer. Sorry, awareness. The education
awareness.
it has reached to the masses, society, and that's what you guys are also doing, so that they don't take this a very light case of कोई नहीं छोटा मोटा बीमारी है दवाई खा लेंगे लगा लेंगे बाम वाम सब ठीक हो जाएगा
हो
कुछ
जाएगा,
नहीं होगा
हाँ,
तो वो तो
करेक्ट,
जो बैठी हुई है दिमाग में पीछे वो जाने में टाइम लगाएगा और उसी के लिए हम सब मेहनत कर रहे हैं आप और मैं यहाँ पे बैठकर
यस
करेक्ट मैम
एब्सोल्युटली। थोड़ा थोड़ा लाइक जैसे ना बूंद बूंद से घड़ा भरता है, तो एक
खड़ा
बूंद भी
भर
गिरे तो हमें लगता है कि हाँ हमने कुछ सॉर्ट ऑफ कर लिया जिंदगी में।
कर रहा है कुछ तो किया है सोसाइटी के लिए जहाँ हम रहते हैं
यस।
so ma'am what kind of other programs and initiatives UV Can is taking to eradicate this cancer in the society like if there are any
See, I told you we have the treatment support program that
hmm.
is applicable only to children under the age of 18. Okay, whatever cancer they may have. So, up to 2 lakhs of monetary funding we give them just as soon as the documentation is complete and we have the facts. We also have something known as bridge funding, which is 50,000 rupees for treatment fund. Supposing you've applied for a government scheme, okay, now the government is also giving a whole lot of money to cancer patients. There are very good schemes for them, but the thing is the funding takes time to come. So we have
Hmm.
something known as bridge funding, कि अगर ठीक है आपने 5 लाख के लिए अभी अप्लाई किया है, आपको 10 दिन लगेंगे, 15 दिन लगेंगे, तो we give an immediate funding of 50,000 rupees to the hospital and say please get it started.
Hmm.
So those 3 5 critical days when the kid needs treatment, that is covered. So treatment support fund. Then there is the education fund. When kids fall out of school, college, after their treatment, it's a small amount, 25,000 per year that we give, but it's a help. Kids will go to other places, and And we have no such thing that, if you've taken from one organization, we will not support you. Whatever this thing we have in our hands, whether you've taken from five different organizations to get together that 12 lakhs, we are happy to give you that 2 lakhs without questioning you, because if it goes into the kitty of your treatment and the hospital tells us that yes, this treatment is going to cost 12 lakhs, or the education is 60,000 rupees, but you pay 25, the rest I'll manage from somewhere else, we just go ahead and do it. Then we have a lot of focus on the youth with tobacco cessation, drug abuse. We tell them how lung cancer is just catching up with the younger generation so quickly
Yeah.
because of tobacco.
Yeah.
Okay, and for that we go to the youngsters, we go to the adolescents, we go to the young men, we go to the old dadajis in the this thing, जो बैठ के वहाँ पे हुक्का पी रहे हैं और सोच रहे हैं कि बहुत नेक नेक का काम कर रहे हैं, नॉट रियलाइजिंग कि वो जो धुआं इनहेल कर रहे हैं वो अपने लिए भी सत्यानाश है और बाकी घर वालों के लिए भी सत्यानाश है. So,
Correct.
focusing on all these, and I'm just waiting for the cervical cancer serum to, the Serum Institute to come out with that reasonable injection, so that the vaccine, so that we can, just go all out and vaccinate all the young girls. Right now, it's too expensive.
It's
But
very
if it comes
expensive.
down to 300, 400 rupees, we can will just pick it up and, go into the community and do it for the young ladies.
That's great, ma'am. And like you mentioned, initiatives taken by UV Can, and how the government is also there a little bit to support the cancer family and the patients. So I would just like to know, is there any other scheme where the government is there to help the family, as well as any scheme for the organization, where the government is assuring you do your work, we are with you, we are there to support you with the kind of scheme or any kind of financial support there?
See, government has its own schemes and every state has its own. So mostly in the government hospitals and the regional hospitals, cancer treatment is covered. So
Okay.
the kids will get a lot of support from the sarkar. But then there are these very expensive tests. There's the MRI, there's the PET scan, there are some heavy duty injections that cost you. So that is where people start struggling. Let me just give you an example of what happened yesterday. Bhavika, one of our team members, called me up and she said, "Ma'am, there is a lady who's sitting here, and her with her family, and they're all sitting and crying because she's been found with cervical cancer, and it's at a very advanced stage.
Okay.
And the poor lady didn't have some 15,000 or 20,000 rupees to get her PET scan done, without which her treatment cannot start. Okay,
Yes.
so somebody in the sarkar will support her for the treatment, but who's to support her with the PET scan that needs to be done before the extent of the damage can be gauged? So at that point only, we kind of figured things out, and वो emergency fund में से हम लोगों ने 20,000 रुपया निकाल के और उसको उसी टाइम दिया. So it's a life saved. So those are the kind of things that, we need to do.
यस, बिकॉज़ हम लोग सब इस बारे में तो सोचते हैं कि हाँ, जब कैंसर डिटेक्ट हुआ तो उसके ट्रीटमेंट के लिए, इन सब के लिए, लेकिन व्हाट अबाउट द डिटेक्शन स्टेज, जहाँ पे यू डोंट नो वेदर यू हैव इट और नॉट, लेकिन उस डिटेक्शन के लिए से पहले इतने सारे जो टेस्ट हैं, उसके पैसे चाहिए होते हैं, वैक्सीनेशंस चाहिए होते हैं, लाइक वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट सर्विकल कैंसर वैक्सीनेशन व्हिच इज़ टू एक्सपेंसिव. एंड हाउ कैन गाँव का एक लड़की, लड़का या कोई भी एक परिवार है, वो कैसे बेयर कर पाएगा? We people who are living in the city can take up loans, and we have some other kind of support system, we can do it, but those people, pehli baat to, they're not even aware about it. Even if they want to go ahead with this, they don't have that money, that financial support. So I think there should be a midway, or a scheme or things where this should be a mandatory, that this kind of money, aajkal jaise education ke liye government has some schemes, so there's a scheme for regular checkups, medical checkups, annual checkups for that. This is
Seriously, if
required.
medical checkups was as, put on the radar, eh, like must do sort of a thing, we could save a lot of lives. It's just because people just don't take it seriously.
और उसके बाद के बहुत सारे पैसे बच जाएंगे.
You are absolutely right.
Ma'am, you're also working in this education sector where you're working hard to bring this positive change in the society. to make world healthier, happier, and brighter with the young kids out there whom you are teaching. So how are you doing it? How are you shaping? What is your motive whenever, or let's say आप क्या सोच के, you talk to them, you shape them, you try to convince them कि नहीं बेटा, देखो पैसा वैसा सब कमा लेंगे, you have to be this and that. How do you do it?
Yeah, Simran, I've been in Shulini University for the last 11 years. And I
Okay.
think, my biggest contribution, if I look back at my journey of those 11 years, is to make better human beings out of my students. Because I have taught them how to be a volunteer without expecting anything in return. And what do you get in return? Just that feel good factor that you did something for somebody else. Okay? अपने लिए तो सब सोचते हैं.
Yeah.
But I tell them कि ये जो life skills लोग, they shout from the rooftop कि जी life skills होने चाहिए, life skills होने चाहिए, empathy होनी चाहिए, decision making होनी चाहिए, teamwork होना चाहिए, decision making होना चाहिए. ये सारी emotional intelligence होनी चाहिए. ये सारी चीजें आप सीख लेते हो अगर आप you work as a volunteer.
Mm.
When I take my students to IGMC Shimla or to PGI Chandigarh or to the Noida hospital, and when they see those little children suffering, with 10 different kinds of needles, and it's a heart-rending scene. My girls break down in the corridors, they come out and they start crying. So I have to tell them that, if you start acting like this, then what value are you bringing to those people who are, as it is, sort of burdened with so much of grief and misery? So I have sort of trained my students to enjoy this work, to appreciate this work, and make a contribution. And the most effective thing that I've been able to do is to sensitize my boys. Today in
Mm.
Shulani, whether it's cervical cancer, whether it's breast cancer, whether it's menstrual hygiene, whether it is period cramps, my boys can talk about it as openly as the girls can, because I've been talking to them, I've been sitting with them, I've been telling them that it's a part of life. Don't shy away from it. I'll tell you of this Pink October, we started a campaign called My Mother Matters. Pink
Mm.
October, breast cancer awareness
Breast
month होता
cancer
है.
awareness.
हाँ, तो हमने क्या किया कि हमने बहुत अच्छे अच्छे पिंक पोस्टर्स बनाए और उसमें हमने एक स्कैन डाल दिया. उस स्कैन में हमने क्रूशियल इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट ब्रेस्ट कैंसर डाली. Then we went from class to class, and the students scanned that. They got that information, and each student, I mean, whoever we could cover out of the 5,000 kids I have on campus, sent it to their mother and said, you matter to me. Your health matters to me. So please go through this and see, that, what are you suffering from anything like this? You go to a doctor and check get yourself checked up, and that's the biggest gift that you will be able to give to me as a child, that I should have this assurance that you are in the pink of health. So it was an amazing campaign, and it was done mostly by the boys. So the ability to sensitize the young generation, who are like so much into their Instagram and Facebook, when they sort of step away from all this and contribute, to these kind of causes, I feel very happy about it. And I'm very, very proud of it.
Ma'am, we are proud of you that you are doing such a great work. You are sensitizing this topic amongst boys. You are making that, you are bringing that change in our society. And it's just not कि सिर्फ वही वो लड़के हैं, बस पर उन लड़कों को देख के जो और 10 लड़के अपना रंग बदलेंगे, सीखेंगे, that is the bigger change is happening. And slowly and gradually these advocacies are becoming stronger day by day. And people are accepting or getting to know about women's health. They are realizing whether women are doing it or not, but men's are doing it, and they I believe are spreading that awareness.
Yes. The women are also realizing that, if their health fails, then everything will come to a standstill. I'll give you a very small example. When I got my first chemotherapy,
Yes, ma'am.
I was, after 2, 3 days, I was feeling quite miserable. I sat on the dining table, I was having food, and I fainted. Okay,
Okay.
so obviously the family was in panic, and I was rushed to the hospital. And then my doctor asked me, he said, everything is okay. Your cancer is found in such an initial state. You're perfectly fine. कोई problem नहीं है. So what is bothering you? So I said, what is bothering me is that now because I am sick, the whole family's life has come to a standstill. My kids are still studying. My husband has just given up his job and started his consulting. And everybody's put their lives on hold because I've fallen sick. So he told me, he says, Mrs. Nanda, you've done your part. You've looked after the family long enough. Now it's time for them to look after you. So just sit back and, just relax. सब अपना अपना काम कर लेंगे और आपका भी ध्यान रख लेंगे, बस आप अपना ध्यान रखो. So,
हाँ.
you know, it is important, and I think gradually women are also beginning to realize कि उनकी सेहत गई तो बाकी घर भी साथ जाएगा.
ये तो सही कहा मैम आपने कि उनकी सेहत गई तो और वो रियलाइज हो रहा है. इवन इफ आई हैव टू टॉक अबाउट माय मदर, नाउ वी ऑल हैव ग्रोन अप. शी इज जस्ट टेकिंग, शी जस्ट हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ हर एंड नॉट इवन हाउस होल्ड. सो नाउ आई हैव सीन द चेंज इन हर माइंडसेट. No, I'll have dry fruits सुबह उठते. I'll do this. I'll go for a walk. I'll do that. And I'm saying like कि पहले she was not doing this, and now she has realized कि now the time is with her. She can do it, and that's what she is doing अभी. So I think slowly and gradually, women are also realizing that thing, and we are happy that even if we guys are working for our family, like our parents used to work for us earlier, so now they are also worthing or valuing that thing what we are, the hard work we guys are doing.
Correct.
Ma'am, you yourself is two times breast cancer survivor, and you know how it feels to be there. Like you were talking, Abhi Hamse, and you have been through that journey. That is very difficult times you have seen, and what zeal, strength, motivation is required. You know it. So I just want to know what kept you going. What was the motivation behind it, and what women also should keep in their mind when they are into this.
See, first of all, I'd like to tell every woman here or whoever's attending that cancer is not the end of the world. Okay?
Hmm.
It's not a death sentence. Of
Hmm.
course, if you find out very late when the cancer has spread to other organs, even today, I have friends who are, I mean, I have a friend who's stage 4 lung cancer patient, but he's playing golf.
अरे
Okay,
वाह.
we, I mean, he surprises us. He goes for a chemotherapy एक दिन पहले और अगले दिन वो या गोल्फ खेल रहा होता है या वो डिनर पे किसी को इनवाइट कर रहा होता है. So I'm saying cancer is not a death sentence, especially if you find it out early enough. It can be treated very well. We have great treatment, we have great doctors, and in the treatment in India is as good as anything that you will get globally. So, it is, I won't shy away from the fact, Simran, that it is a tough time.
Hmm.
When, anyone in your family is detected with cancer, the world does come crumbling down till you kind of, cope up with everything and figure out कि हाँ इस तरह से हमें करना है ये ट्रीटमेंट चलेगा 6 महीने चलेगा 8 महीने चलेगा जो भी है. But it honestly is not a death sentence. You can overcome it. Your mental health, your ability to tell yourself that, yes, I'm going to fight it and come back a winner is very, very important. If
Hmm.
you crumble, then you really have a challenge. So it's very, very important for you yourself and your entire family to, keep that energy going and say, no, we are in it together and we are going to fight it. For me, both times the cancer was found quite early. I knew I wasn't going to die, but मरने नहीं वाली मैं. But it gave me. I think cancer made me a better person. I kind of sort of stopped, reflected, uh, thought about life, and I almost felt that I had been given a second chance
Hmm.
to maybe do something better with my life. I've been a teacher for a very long time, more than 3 decades. I've been in the teaching line, but this is what gave me another purpose in life. To talk to women and to tell them that your life matters, your health matters. Please look after yourself. And if you see, your body is great. People say,
Hmm.
"पता ही नहीं लगता यार." Some symptoms or the other, your body will give you,
Yeah.
whether it's like with me it was just a niggling pain in my arm, and it was
Yeah.
my right arm. So my husband made jokes about it and said, शुक्र है left arm नहीं तो मैंने सोचा तेरे को heart attack हो रहा है. but it was actually a tumor that was bothering me. I had no clue. So your body gives you some sort of signs that something is going wrong. Learn to recognize those signs. And God forbid, even if you are detected with cancer, do not lose hope,
Hmm.
because the treatment today is so good that no matter what stage you are in, whatever you are dealing with, you can come out of it. So go with that, faith in yourself that you will beat it.
That faith is required. Ki at the end, everything will be fine, and you will return back to normalcy.
Yes,
And like you
absolutely.
said, cancer is not the death sentence.
It's not.
And then similarly, we know that our Indian cricketer Yuvraj Singh, the founder of UV was also diagnosed with cancer. And then, even in that condition, he played for India, even got the Man of the Series award, and records बनाए. और जो कहते हैं ना कि हीरो थे and he is still a hero for us. So what will you say about him? मतलब I believe that you are close to him, you know about his journey, you have been with him through when it was going through. So the learning part from his journey that we need to learn from him, what is that one?
The biggest learning from his journey is that cancer is not for the sick and the old. Cancer we can be there for the young and healthy also. I mean, when we first got to know that he has cancer, do you think we believed it at the first time? We thought the doctors were talking crap. How
Yeah.
could somebody who's like young, so fit, so healthy, so in the prime of everything get something like cancer? So anyone and everyone is under the radar of cancer. So it can hit anybody. And
Hmm.
so having a backup, having a medical insurance, having a good awareness of what government programs are there for you, in what category you can apply, and if you are not eligible for that, then some amount of money as a fund for any kind of emergency, getting a medical insurance. I think these are things that we really really need to consider very strongly, because
Correct.
medical insurance is something that took care of my medical expenses. And when
Yeah.
I took it 15 years ago, I had no idea that I would need it for cancer, but that's how it was. So वो लोग जो सोचते हैं ना कि वो मेडिकल रेप्स मेरे पीछे पीछे भाग रहे हैं कि करा लो करा लो करा लो, they should actually give it a serious thought.
Yeah, it will save, because we know that cancer is very deadly and it drains out, it drains
Financially.
out the family financially, emotionally, in every way. So
Yes.
financially, a person, a family will be secure that way.
Correct.
Ma'am, last, I just want to know. I know, I just want to keep talking to you because इतनी सारी stories निकल के आ रही हैं. I'm myself getting so much inspired and motivated because of you. But lastly, I would just like to have one message that you would like to share to motivate women that they need to prioritize their health. The time is changing. सारा काम, सारी झंझट, सारा कंधे पे बोझ होने ही लेके नहीं चलना है. It's about equality. You can also, responsibilities can be divided equally. And like we all have seen working mothers, housewife, full-time mothers, and or let's say professional ladies, but we have not seen a lady resting, enjoying, prioritizing their health. The main focus, we haven't seen those ladies in main focus. So what message will you circulate in the society?
ऐसा नहीं है सिमरन, लाइक यू सेड, थोड़ा थोड़ा चेंज आ रहा है
हाँ,
इवन इन द
हाँ,
यंग जनरेशन. आई मीन, आई सी दीज यंग लेडीज बैलेंसिंग, वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस क्रिएट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. जिम जिम जाना प्रायोरिटी
हाँ,
हो गया है. तो बट देर इज नो डाउट दैट यू नो अ लेडीज health overall takes a backseat, because let's talk about the masses now. No, we are not just
hmm,
talking about the elite people who will
correct.
pack up their gym bag and put on their Nike shoes and go to the gym in the evening. We're not talking about that. We're
Mm,
talking about the masses, about the maybe illiterate, maybe semi-educated women who are on the ground, जिनके लिए अपना परिवार सबसे पहले आता है और वो आखिर में आती है. You will
hmm,
not believe it. I have a friend who lost his wife to cancer. And one day I just asked him, I said, how late was it discovered? He said, no, we made a mistake. बहुत late हो गया. So I said, what happened? He said that she found this lump in the back, and the daughter was going away to a foreign country or something, and a very protected child. So the wife said that I will first go settle my daughter, and then I'll come back and get my treatment or whatever. She had no idea she had cancer, but that lump was growing. And
Hmm.
so, can you imagine somebody educated, well versed with everything that is going on in this world, actually went, settled her daughter for 3 months, came back, and by that time she came back, it was too late.
Yeah.
This is a Jita Jata example of my own friend. So that's why I'm saying that, you need to prioritize your health over everything else. Because if you collapse, the whole family collapses. So to say that you will do it tomorrow, day after, next month is just not an option for you. You have to get into action today, right now, whenever you think that there is a problem. That's my message to each one.
Because everything else can wait, but not health, and the time will not return back.
Yes, absolutely.
Great, ma'am. This was a great and inspiring session for each and every listeners who's out there listening to you, your journey, and how UV is actually making this impact in the society. And the message you delivered, that health, the prioritizing health and cancer is not कि किसी सिर्फ बूढ़े बुजुर्गों को होगा, गरीबों को नहीं. It can be, मतलब वो कभी भी कहीं पे भी किसी के हो सकता है. And this makes us realize that we cannot take health granted. We cannot take our life for granted.
Yes,
Yes.
very true.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great session. It was nice interacting to you, and looking forward for such more great insightful sessions with you, with UV Can. And together we both, Voice of Healthcare and UV Can, will are trying and will make an impact in the healthcare sector and society to bring this positive change together.
Yes, I'm sure we will. I'm sure the change is already happening, and we need to push everybody a little more to make that change happen faster and spread the word. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking out your time.
Thank you.
Thanks
Take
a
care.
lot.
Bye bye.
Thank